We'll only touch that if you test positive for COVID.
I'm
Otherwise, get out.
bleeding from my eyes. No, even Ebola is not frightening. Nobody cares about Ebola. That shit makes you
Nope.
bleed from your eye. Your organs melt and you die.
Yeah.
That's
And you don't
worse.
just bleed from your eyes. It'll bleed from just about anywhere.
Yeah, that's worse than
Yeah.
COVID. In any day of the week, that's fucking way worse than COVID. But nobody cares anymore.
And it's got a huge... What's the death rate on that? It is huge.
Ebola was... We were at over 3,000 deaths the first time we talked about COVID ever. This year, there had already been 3,000 Ebola deaths.
So,
Because I was
Ebola
tracking them. I was tracking them
Yeah.
daily, Ebola to COVID. It was like the Ebola numbers were ridiculous because there was a big outbreak right after Christmas.
Yep. Well, Ebola has a mortality rate ranging anywhere from 22 to 88%.
That's in case you don't know Gord's big fancy talk. That means that's how many die.
Yes, that's right. The
88%.
average fatality
die.
rate is 50%. That's the average is half the people who get it will die. That's the average.
50 to 88%.
Yeah.
Which
Nobody cares about that.
That adds up to 148%. In case you guys, 148% of people who get it die from it.
But nobody cares about that. But COVID, which sits at 0.02%, hey, we gotta.
That's how the network news does stuff, by the way. They do exactly what I just did there, and people go, yeah, I know, I heard it on the news.
Right? It's got to be true.
I just added the two numbers. That wasn't a real thing. And that's exactly what the news is doing. The news just, there's 8 new cases reported today. No, there wasn't. 8 people went to the hospital today. That's all that happened.
That's it. They walked in the hospital.
My mother just informed me about the 2 children that died of COVID. No child has died of it yet. No child. 576 kids worldwide have contracted the goddamn thing.
Yeah. There was one in the news they talked about. It was a 9-year-old girl, but she died of what the fuck
pneumonia,
was it?
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if it was pneumonia or something else. Yeah, but that's directly. She had although she tested positive, she did test positive for having COVID in her system. She wasn't symptomatic. She was already dying from fucking pneumonia.
Yeah,
it was just timing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this does attack in the same way that HIV attacks. So if you've got something like pneumonia, it will probably kill you if you get the COVID.
Yes. Yeah, it weakens your immune system without a doubt.
But that's just the way the world is now. It's COVID or nothing.
Yeah. No, nothing else matters.
Everyone in Chicago has died of COVID so far.
Fucking COVID bullets. God damn it.
I cannot believe when we were comparing, I said something to the effect of, at least they're not in Chicago or whatever, when we were talking about the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that I never thought to bring up Chicago. It should be called Chicago.
It sure as hell should now.
And Renee Zellweger needs to redo that movie. Chicago.
Renee Zellweger should never redo any movie.
Chicago with...
I got the reference,
Zeta
but she's
Jones.
a horrible actress. Yeah.
Renee Zellweger Jones? I never saw the movie. I couldn't. I worked at a video store when that came out, and we had the preview on 8 hours a day.
Yeah, that was enough.
That was enough for me. So, where were we? Go by Zimbabwe and fucking... No, it was Madagascar.
Madagascar.
Yeah, buy his serum. I'll throw in one of mine for free.
It's COVID serum.
That's not what we were talking about. We were talking about something else. Something COVID-y.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fuck you, COVID.
Yeah. The Trump administration has seized a cargo of 4 tankers that was supposed to be that was targeting for transporting Iranian fuel to Venezuela, and the U.S. has taken it.
Yeah. Venezuela and Iran. Venezuela and Iran don't play by the rules. It's good when this stuff happens to them.
Yeah. They say that the sale was arranged by a businessman, I'm not going to attempt his name, with ties to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps,
Cool.
a U.S. designated foreign terrorist organization.
Yes.
They said, nope, fuck you. We're taking all of your oil or gas, Iranian gas. We're going to take all that. So what they did. So there's 4 ships transporting 1.1 million barrels of gasoline.
Those are not going to make it. Someone's going to smoke on the night shift and fuck that shit up. They're Americans.
It'll be the next big boom to happen.
They're Americans. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But good. Great.
Yeah.
Gee, isn't that convenient? Oh, oil prices are fucking $5 a gallon. All of a sudden, oh yeah, we got a bunch of free gas.
All of a sudden, just gas prices just plummet. Yeah,
Why?
no, we got a bunch of gas. It's all fine.
Why are you taking my gas? You're violating stuff against America. What stuff? Shut up. That's what stuff.
The quote from Iran's ambassador to Venezuela, he pushed back saying this is another lie and an act of psychological warfare perpetrated by the U.S. propaganda machine. The terrorist Trump cannot compensate for his humiliation and defeat by Iran using false propaganda.
Agreed.
Yeah, I love that. The terrorist Trump. That is beautiful.
100% agreed. It is propaganda. I don't know that Venezuela's ever done anything wrong to anybody.
No.
It's the worst place. No, it's one of the worst places on earth. It's in the top 5.
Yeah,
They're
I know that
themselves.
I know that nature fucking hates them.
Oh yeah.
Like really hates them.
Nature hates all those greedy poor countries. But yeah.
So
whatever. Good.
Yeah.
He's right. Trump's a terrorist. You suck. Your country sucks, and it's because of you, because you're a shitty, evil leader. Don't get me wrong. Isn't that Gerbangli? Isn't Gerbangli in Venezuela? I think he is.
I believe so.
You're a shitty man, and you do a shitty job at your job. That's why your country sucks. But you're not wrong about Trump.
Yeah. It just doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form because you suck.
No, yeah, it doesn't. It's not going to help your country, and you're still a piece of shit. Like, it doesn't matter who the president of America is. You'll always be a piece of shit. That doesn't change because of Trump. But you're right. He's a terrorist. So I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not you.
No, I figured as much. I didn't think I was a terrorist. Going over to Zimbabwe, there is a village. The Hwang village. It's the villagers in Batoka, Hwang, Metabelaland North. They've been given 4 months to vacate their communal lands that they've had since 1957. They're going to get rid of it, so they're going to establish a new township. And they're saying, "Get the fuck out! You got 4 months. Get the fuck out." That's it.
Whatever. Is it their property?
Get it? Well, it's their town.
There you go. Awesome.
So, not their town anymore. They said, "Get the fuck out." The only thing I'm trying to find is how many people are out, but I'm just not seeing a number anywhere.
Probably like 11.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to wonder if it's going to be very small, because if you're not even going to mention a number, that says a lot right there.
That's pretty cool. I don't know why that's not like allowed, but I guess no one owns cities or whatever. But you could, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's basically what gentrification is in North America.
Well, they don't just kick
in a smaller scale.
They just make it so you can't afford to live there anymore.
Yeah, they're a little more passive aggressive about it.
It's a terrible concept, but yeah, I think that should be allowed. Like property ownership, you should be allowed to just kick someone out. That should be your thing. You own that. That's your house. But that's not how the way the world works.
Yeah. Well, imagine this though. You own your house, and then all of a sudden somebody just comes in and say, "Hey, you got 4 months to get the fuck out of your house."
Yeah, but it's
why do I got to leave my house? Because we're gonna put something else here.
Yeah,
this is my house.
The city.
I didn't sell you my land. Nobody sold the land to anybody. They just took it.
Did they own the land, or was it a lease, or what was the land deal they had? Maybe it expired.
Oh, it just says that it was established in 1957 by the Federal Power Board to accommodate people working on the construction of the dam.
And now that the dam is done, maybe it's no longer there to accommodate.
The plant was mooted 2 decades ago. What does that mean?
Okay.
What does it mean when it's been mooted?
Like mooted, like it's a moot point. Like it was mooted, it was stopped.
It was stopped, so the dam doesn't really exist anymore. Oh, okay.
That land was yours while you worked on the dam. Well, the dam's not being worked on. Land's not yours anymore. That doesn't sound unreasonable to me.
Then I just get the fuck out.
Yeah. If you were up going to build the Kinder Morgan pipeline, and then someone said, "Hey, you know what? Get out of this cabin. The pipeline's not happening."
Get out.
That seems totally fine to me.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. How about that?
I don't.
I just can't figure out why they're not giving a number. I just think that's just why wouldn't you put that number? Say just so you know, yeah, there's like 18 people are going to be having to move.
Oh,
you know, like
why don't 18 million that number? All, you know.
Well, that's just it, right? So yeah. So there we go. So there's going to be a new town being built, and I mean, Lord knows if it's going to be some village thing out in the middle of nowhere. Lord knows the new place they're building ain't going to be all that shit on anyway. So.
Oh no. But these people didn't like work all their lives and buy a bunch of land, and now someone's just marched in like Trump and said, "Oh, you can't have it. Yeah, we're taking it."
No. Just the dam. The whole reason your thing was built, the dam's just defunct now. So
that does still happen though. And if this were one of those cases, I'd be grumpy about it. It happens right here in our country, where the king can just march in and take back his land.
Yep.
Or
fucking
the queen nowadays, but it happened to a friend of mine. I don't know what the official explanation was, but he bought an island. My friend's family. He didn't. We were like 12. But his family bought an island, and the government just came and took it. It's like, no, and they just took it.
Wow.
And then he didn't own it anymore. It's a very small island right here in Okanagan Lake.
That's insane.
They can do that.
That's fucked. No.
The feudal system never changed. You learn about it in high school as if it's in the past. It's not at all. It's still the feudal. It's exactly the same. You take a little parcel of land from the government. You're allowed to farm on it, but really they own it and they can take whatever they want from it.
Yeah.
It's never changed since the shit you learned in social studies. We have a prime minister instead of a king, and it makes it look more legit.
Yeah. Oh, they would never do that. Oh yeah, they still do.
Oh yeah, all the time.
It still happens. There's a guy in the town of Bindura in Zimbabwe. His name is Luciano John, which is his name. He's committed suicide by hanging himself with an electrical cord after basically it initially says here that there's after a misunderstanding with his wife over food. That is not what happened. Basically what happened was the guy works a really shitty job, makes no money, and he just couldn't afford their house and food. Like he just couldn't afford it. He was just running himself in debt, and he just couldn't afford it anymore. And his wife got sick as shit, and he came home one night, and she had packed up her bags and left for her mother's house. So right after she left, he fucking hung himself on an electrical cable.
And then what?
That's the funny thing. I'm still trying to figure out what's the point. I thought there was more to the story, but no, literally, that's the whole story.
Well, thanks for that.
Guy committed suicide because he couldn't afford it, and his wife left him. There it is.
That's probably happened 7 times since you read that.
Oh, exactly.
Happens all the time. That's just, and especially now, like you just wait until all those evictions start happening down south. You are going to see suicide on levels you never thought imaginable.
We'll never know it because it's all going to be labeled as